The night was thick with fog. Shadows clung to every corner, and the silence carried a weight that pressed on the chest. Somewhere in the dark, footsteps echoed, steady, deliberate, hunting. A predator stalked the weak, not for survival, but for pleasure. A phantom in human skin, cloaked by the mist, striking when least expected. They gave him a name whispered in fear. And from that moment on, terror became a living thing, crawling through the streets, never resting. Because he was never caught. The year was 1888. The streets of Whitechapel were narrow, crooked veins, choking with smoke and the stench of poverty. Gas lamps flickered, throwing weak halos into the fog. Here, in this maze of darkness, the Ripper stalked unseen. An invisible predator in a city that never truly slept. At first, whispers carried the terror. A woman found, butchered. Another, mutilated beyond recognition. The killings grew bolder, more brutal. And suddenly, no one in Whitechapel walked the streets without fear scratching at their spine. But while the city trembled, Jack's work had only just begun. His shadow fell upon 5 women. Women whose names would forever be etched in blood as the canonical 5. Mary Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, Mary Jane Kelly. Their names, forever etched in screams, became the Ripper's blood-soaked calling card. Each murder was not just a killing. It was a performance. A grotesque ritual carved into flesh. August 31st, 1888. Mary Nichols was found in Bucks Row. Her throat cut so deep it silenced her forever. Her body, discarded in the cold. She was the first. The spark of London's nightmare. And the Ripper's hunger had only just been awakened. September 8th. Annie Chapman met her fate in a backyard on Hanbury Street. The brutality was so precise. Whispers spread like poison. This killer was no ordinary madman. Some believed he was a surgeon. Others swore he was not even human. Annie's death deepened the terror. London realized this was not random. This was ritual. September 30th. The Ripper struck twice in one night. First, Elizabeth Stride. Found on Berners Street. Her throat cut. Her body left untouched. Maybe he was interrupted. Or just being merciful. No one knew. Witnesses spoke of a man in the shadows, gripping her tightly before she disappeared into the fog. Less than an hour later, Catherine Eddowes was discovered in Mitre Square. And this time, Jack did not hold back. Her body bore his signature. A grotesque spectacle carved into the heart of the city. The double event sent shivers through London. Then came the letters. Pressed to the police, dripping with mockery. One signed, "From Hell." Another smeared with what was believed to be human remains. Each line was more chilling than the last, as if the killer himself was laughing at the hunt. The police flooded Whitechapel. Detectives knocked on doors, questioned suspects, chased shadows through the fog. But the Ripper was always one step ahead. The hunt was desperate, frantic. It might seem as though they were chasing a ghost. Jack was untouchable. It was as though he was everywhere and nowhere. November 9th. Mary Jane Kelly, the youngest of them all. Unlike the others, she was murdered indoors, in her tiny Whitechapel room, behind closed doors. Jack had time, and what he did there was a horror beyond imagination. Even hardened officers staggered away. One whispered, "This was not a killing. This was a nightmare made flesh." Mary was the last. After her, the killing stopped. But London's fear did not. He was never caught. His name buried in theories. His face never seen. And though the years have passed, his shadow remains. Sometimes in the footsteps behind you, and sometimes in the silence of the mist, where monsters still breathe. And even though years has passed, this question still lingers in the heart of many. Who was he? A surgeon? A madman? Or a monster hiding in the midst of people?